Hello, everyone, and welcome to Illuminate 2022. I'm Michael Reardon, and I'm a product marketing manager here at Sumo Logic. And today, we're going to be sharing some great product updates related to cloud infrastructure monitoring. So today, I'm joined by my colleagues on the product team who are excited to share some updates with you. First up is Greg Zimetsky, who's a senior technical product manager here at Sumo Logic. And also we'll be joined by Matt Gorski, who's also a senior technical product manager here at Sumo Logic. As for what we'll cover today, we'll do an introduction explaining, if you're less familiar with Sumo Logic, what we do and how we can help you execute on your infrastructure monitoring and multi-cloud strategy. After that, we'll cover some of our product updates. We'll cover GCP updates related to metrics collection, and then a host of updates related to AWS monitoring. And then we'll close out with some ways to give feedback and stay up to date on what we're doing here at Sumo Logic. So for those who are less familiar, Sumo Logic can help you eliminate data silos, accelerate your ability to troubleshoot, and execute on your cloud strategy. And this is so important. We know that enterprises are increasingly shifting to a multi-cloud strategy, and comprehensive visibility into your infrastructure and all your applications and components is so vital to being able to understand how everything's doing operationally. And Sumo Logic supports AWS, Microsoft Azure, GCP, and other clouds. And that's been a key strength of ours. Analyst research has cited our cloud service provider integrations as one of our kind of core differentiators and competencies. So we're really excited about the updates we'll have to share with you today. Throughout Illuminate, you'll hear stories from our customers about how they've gained critical insights into their infrastructure, and that's helped them accelerate their cloud migrations, improve reliability, and simplify and automate collection. So please check out some of the great case studies we have with our customers who'll be sharing their stories today in other sessions. So now I'll pass it off to Greg, who'll cover some GCP updates.
Hello. So regarding the multi-cloud support, we would like to start with one important feature we've recently brought into our product, which is Google Cloud Platform Metrics Source. So with this step, we are extending our GCP platform support so that in addition to the GCP log source, you can now collect metrics also and overall gain more visibility of your GCP cloud infrastructure. So this GCP source allows you to collect metrics from 35 services, including, just to name a few, Google Compute Engine, Cloud SQL, Bigtable, or Google Apps App, and many, many more, of course. So for the complete list of metrics, you can always refer to the GCP documentation. But also on top of the built-in metrics that GCP is providing, you can create custom ones. Yeah, so they are also known as application-specific metrics, and then therefore expand your monitoring coverage beyond those backend and basic services, right? So those custom metrics let you define and collect information from the built-in cloud monitoring metrics that the built-in cloud monitoring metrics cannot. And you can capture such metrics by instrumenting your code and then send the metrics to the Google Cloud Monitoring. And from there, any kind of metrics Sumo Logic is also able to collect. All above is done using an integrated Google Service account, which is a special type of Google account intended to represent a non-human user, as Google says, that needs to authenticate and needs to be authorized to get the data actually from the Google platform. So that all ensures the highest security standards of integration between GCP and Sumo Logic. And of course, we continue to work on providing those best out-of-the-box insights and solving the customer pain points. So therefore, I would like to ask you reach out and tell you about your GCP use cases, right? So and all the challenges that you encounter in monitoring your cloud infrastructure. So whether there is a simple service, okay, there's a problem with your single service, or there is like collection of different problems related to your Google Cloud infrastructure. So please reach out. We'll be happy to help you with solving your problem. Okay, now moving on to AWS updates. Yeah, so we have a couple of updates on that front, let's start with AWS observability and its onboarding options. So on top of the existing CloudFormation-based deployment, we have recently added 2 new AWS observability onboarding options, which are Terraform-based and command line interface-based deployments. So the first one, Terraform-based. So Terraform is a leading infrastructure as a code framework, and it might be a good option if you're already using this framework in your cloud deployments. So in that way, it enables standardization, let's say, an easier integration into your existing toolsets. On the other hand, it allows a bit of customization and flexibility of AWS observability deployment. For example, one example can be choosing an existing S3 bucket for logs, so no need to create a new one, right? So that's one option. And the other option is very simple, but simple from a user perspective. So it's command line interface-based onboarding, and this option allows to roll out the AWS observability with single CLI commands. So it's as simple as providing the script name and 2 parameters, which are Sumo Access ID and Sumo Access Key. It's obviously supported for the most widely used operating systems like Mac, Linux, and Windows. So this option is ideal for customers who like the simplicity and ease of use, and it's meant for default deployments with no customization. What's more, it's enabled us to build even easier and more user-friendly integration frameworks, which you will hear about soon. Okay, now once we have our AWS observability deployed, we can look into the new content that it brings. So we continuously add new dashboards to the AWS observability, for this out-of-the-box experiences and insights into your cloud infrastructure, so that you gain even more and more visibility into what's going on in your AWS environment. So one example may include EC2 related dashboards. So in terms of EC2 metrics, we have now added dashboards based on CloudWatch. So now we have 2 independent dashboards with separate sources, right? First one based on Sumo installed collector, and the other one being CloudWatch. So those 2 dashboards are complementary with each other. So you can cross-check the data and use both at the same time. And that's not everything for the EC2. So on top of metrics, we have also added an EC2 events dashboard, which is based on AWS CloudTrail. So that enables you now to view the successful and failed events related to your EC2s. And for instance, look at those based on the geographical location. So where is the source coming from, or even view your top events that occurred in your account. So that those kind of examples of use cases that those dashboards are bringing, right? So other examples of different dashboards that join the AWS family, AWS observability family, are SNS, so simple notification service, and classic Elastic Load Balancer. So that's what has been new, but of course we are constantly working on new stuff coming on into the AWS observability. So there are new dashboards that we are working on, and those kind of examples might include this SQS, so simple queue service, which allow you to monitor your messages in the queues, or VPC flow logs showing the traffic flow across your VPC network. So those 2 apps has been already in our has been also featured as a standalone apps, but they will be soon integrated into the AWS observability with updated look and feel and updated contents in terms of redesigned dashboards components. So of course we do not only add new dashboards, but constantly update already existing ones to show new out-of-the-box charts and update them with optimized queries, so they are faster, they look better, they provide more information. So there are a couple of examples of such dashboards over here. So for instance, in terms of Lambda dashboards, we can now monitor Lambda functions cold start duration, right? So that might be also a problematic use case for you. So other example of such dashboards that we continuously improve, and we have improved over the last couple of months, include DynamoDB, API Gateway, or just mentioned earlier, EC2 host metric dashboards. So overall, monitoring cloud infrastructure, it's not the only concern of our customers. So keeping an eye on cloud infrastructure spending is also a key factor in making our business successful. So for that purpose, we have introduced another tool about which Michael is going to say a few words.
Thanks, Greg. Like Greg mentioned, when we speak with customers, we often talk about monitoring for performance, but that also raises questions about cost. And is there kind of a trade-off? Do you kind of optimize for cost at the risk of worse reliability, or do you kind of really focus on making things as reliable as possible, but possibly at increased cost? So this creates this kind of eternal tightrope walk that we know you're walking and you're trying to navigate. And we're trying to release new tools like what I'm about to show you that can help bring cost management into Sumo Logic a bit as you also are monitoring performance. So I'm excited to share that we are entering general availability for our AWS Cost Explorer app for Sumo Logic. And this app helps you gain visibility into usage. And if you're already using AWS Observability, you'll now have the ability to access your infrastructure performance insights and also leverage this app to kind of get a sense of usage and cost. And you'll be able to visualize usage and cost for AWS services at the account, region, and service levels, and be able to access pre-built dashboards that can tell you which services, which regions are generating your highest costs. And you can leverage these insights in order to try and make projections about the future, budget correctly, etc. So we're really excited about this update. And you can get started today. Like I mentioned, we're entering GA, so you can set up the AWS Cost Explorer collector source and install the app from the app catalog. And to get started, we have some documentation that walks through kind of this process. It's available at help.sumologic.com. So if you're interested, please check that out and get started with the AWS Cost Explorer app for Sumo Logic today. And with that, we have some other exciting updates about AWS ECS. So I'm going to pass off to Mac, who will discuss those right now.
Thank you, Michael. So the next long-awaited update to the feature is the actual AWS ECS update to our solution of the apps. We had a solution available so far, but with the limited support, and especially around the launch types or coverage that you could basically monitor your ECS instances or services and clusters. Today, we are introducing also AWS ECS update that will support collecting data from CloudWatch Container Insights, which is just an extension to the regular CloudWatch collected data, but actually allows you to monitor and support collection for both supported launch types, which are ECS instances and Fargate instances. What's more important, this collection method does not require you to install any OS agent on top of your services today. So right now, you are able to monitor the tasks in your ECS services. So with that said, today you can already monitor ECS tasks, including Fargate launch types. It gives you a proper visibility to even further layers of the ECS available as part of your AWS observability. With the current update of ECS monitoring, you can monitor audit events, you can monitor cluster overview, performance, and resource reservation. Same goes for container logs and overview, and beyond that, extended to the task family definition, service overview, and obviously tasks overview and all the performance insights around this. This update comes as a standalone application update and soon will be brought up to the entire AWS observability solution. We will be also extending that in the future to actual agent, installed agent collection with our open telemetry agent that will work in the sidecar mode.
So in closing, we have some very exciting updates, as you've heard. We've entered GA for GCP Metrics Collection, and we're looking for feedback to learn more about your GCP use cases and needs. We've entered GA for the AWS Cost Explorer app. You can get started and visit help.sumologic.com for documentation to read more. And we also, as Mac just mentioned, released some exciting new updates regarding AWS ECS. We're entering GA as a standalone app, and we're going to have some updates coming soon as part of our broader AWS observability solution. So if you're looking for more information, please check out our top-down AWS observability demo, which will be available as part of this conference. You'll be able to get a sense of end-to-end what we can do to help you monitor your AWS services. We also have a really exciting session between Sumo Logic and AWS. It's a fireside chat Q&A between executives from both companies who are discussing kind of trends in the industry, where they see things going, and how this partnership between the two companies has blossomed over the past decade. And as always, you can connect with us on Slack at Sumo Dojo. We'd love to hear from you. And as I mentioned a few times, we have some great technical documentation, support guides at help.sumologic.com. And like Greg mentioned earlier in the presentation, we would love to hear more about your GCP use cases and needs. Please email him at the email shown on the screen if you would like to connect with our product team to talk more about GCP. And you can also connect with us on Slack at Sumo Dojo. So thank you, everyone, for attending this session. We are super excited about the updates that we've just released, and we're looking forward to connecting with you to kind of build out our roadmap and continue to work together and improve our product. Thank you.